first of all, apologies for the streaky circles. My printer is arguing with me on a daily basis, and unfortunately at the moment it's winning. But never mind, we can still see just about. So, this question is asking us to find different measurements on each circle. Now sometimes it's asking us to find the circumference, which is what we need to use the formula for, and then sometimes we're being asked to find the radius or the diameter, which means we're working backwards from the formula. Now first of all, let's remember what the formula is. You won't be told this, you must remember it yourself. The circumference of a circle is pi multiplied by the diameter. So circumference, let's start with circumference. Circumference is just another name for the perimeter of a circle. Pi is a number between 3 and 4. If you ever don't have a calculator with pi on it in an exam, use 3.14 in your workings and you'll probably get full marks. 3.14 is a good approximation. And the diameter is the distance all the way across a circle from one side to the other. The radius is the distance from the middle of the circle to the outside. So let's have a look at our first question. Question 1 is really straightforward. We've got the diameter and they want us to find the circumference. So we're going to use the fact that the circumference equals pi times the diameter. Pi times 4. And we just put that into our calculator. Pi is shift and then times 10x on my calculator. And we multiply that by 4 equals 4 pi. Whoever would have guessed. 4 pi. Now all that means is that's the most accurate way of writing it, but we want it as one decimal place. So that's going to be 12.566, 12.6 to one decimal place. Okay, looking at number 2. That's my green stripy circle. Again, we're told the diameter. The diameter is 3.6 centimetres. So we just have to think about the circumference being pi times the diameter, which is 3.6, into our calculator. That doesn't work. There we go. We put pi times 3.6, giving me a fraction. Ignore the fraction, turn it into a decimal because it wants it to one decimal place. 11.3. Right, this one's the first one where we haven't been given the diameter, we've been given the radius. So before we move on to find the circumference, think about what is the diameter of this one. If the radius is 9, all the way across must be 18. As the diameter is 18. Now we can go ahead with finding the circumference. Going to my calculator, I put pi times 18, giving me, strangely enough, 18 pi. 56.5. Right, number 4 down here. Off the screen for you guys. Let's move that around a bit. Oh my goodness, what's going on? Right, number 4. Again, they haven't given us the diameter, they've given us the radius. So we'll think about what would the diameter be. The diameter will be all the way across, which is double the radius. That's going to be 15.6. So to find my circumference, I'm going to do pi, always pi, multiplied by my diameter, which is 15.6. On my calculator, pi times 15.6, 49.00. Now it wants one decimal place, so give it one decimal place. 49.0. Don't skimp on your decimals. Okay. Question 5. Now question 5 tells us the circumference, but it wants to find the diameter. So I'm going to show you how to do this one. First of all, we're using a little flowchart. So usually we start off with the diameter. We know the diameter. What do we do to the diameter? We times it by pi, and that gives me the circumference. But if I want to go from the circumference to the diameter, I've got to do the opposite. I've got to do the inverse. The inverse of times by pi is divided by pi. So to find the diameter, I need to do the circumference divided by pi. Okay, so let's do that. What is the circumference? 60 divided by pi. So on my calculator, 60 divided by pi equals 19.09. Remember one decimal place. 19.1. think about it, does that make sense? The diameter should be roughly a third of the circumference, and that is roughly a third of 60. Let's look at the next one. So this time we're given the circumference and we want to find the radius. Well, hang on, how would I normally go about getting from the radius to the circumference? Well, usually I take the radius and I turn it into the diameter. How do I do it? I times it by 2, and then I turn the diameter into the circumference by timesing by pi. So what do I have to do to go back the other way? First of all, I need to divide by pi, and then I need to divide by 2. So, I am over here. There we go. So, I start off with my circumference, and I'm going to divide it by pi, and that's going to give me the diameter. So diameter, so that's going to take me to here. Okay. The circumference is 61. Divided by pi. $19.4169. I'm just going to round it a little bit there. Best thing to do is leave it in your calculator. I'm not going to clear that off my calculator. I'm leaving it on there. But I want the radius. To find the radius, I take the diameter and I divide it by 2, which is going to be 19.417 divided by 2, giving me the answer. Divided by 2 equals 9.708. So this 9.7 will be fine. Okay, that's the first page. Now the second page is longer and shorter. It's a longer question. There's only one question, so let's see what we can do. Billy likes to go cycling. Good for Billy. His bike has wheels of diameter 85 centimetres. Let's label that diagram, telling ourselves that the diameter is 85 centimetres. He has a counter on his bike which counts the number of revolutions the wheels make, so every time the wheel goes completely round. So let's say every time it goes from here all the way around. What would that be? One revolution would be the circumference, okay? One day the counter shows 150 revolutions, 150 circumferences. How far has he cycled? Well, let's work it out, shall we? So first of all, let's work out what one circumference would be. The circumference is pi times the diameter, which is going to be pi multiplied by 85. Strange enough, my calculator is going to tell me that that's 85 pi. And I'm just going to write that down. So how many circumferences have we got? We've got 150 of them. So 150 multiplied by 85 pi gives me lots of pi. But we want now to a whole number. So let's press arrow D, giving me that. 40,055.3. That is why you should never, ever do that in an exam, because it looks awful and it's difficult to see what number it is. Now I want it to the nearest metre. Is that number of metres? I do not think so. Don't think that Billy's cycled 40 kilometres. So that's going to be centimetres. Turning it into metres, we divide it by 100. It's 400.55 metres. The nearest metre, we round it up, 401. Important things to remember here. First of all, think about the circumference. How many times has the bike gone around the circumference? And then remember to convert it to metres.